Alright, so we are back again here and we are looking at the configuring first and foremost a gateway of last resort. I'm going to double click on router 0 and I'm going to go into my configuration to panel. In fact, I'm just going to observe my routing table first and foremost in my router 0 in the ISS command, and we can see gateway of last resort is not set. So I'm going to complicate things a little bit and set up a gateway of last resort to get out of that network. And I'm also going to set up a static route. So I'll go to my config tab, and this is the point in time that all students should pay attention. And I'm going to go to my routing tab and go to static. Right? And I'm going to set up a gateway of last resort that in terms of any network, right, that they cannot identify, in this case, for any network, my next hop will be 10.0.0.2, which is in router 2. Right? And this will successfully set up my gateway here of last resort. So what I'm basically saying that any network, as you can see here in my configuration here, any network, right, it will go via 10.0.0.2, and we'll go to our routing table and I'll press Ctrl C and I'm going to show the show IP route command, right? And we will see that a S star, meaning then candidate default, a static route has been set up. So whatever IP address or subnet mask or any network has the 0.0.0.0, right, it will go to router 2 via 10.0.0.2. As you can see, the gateway of last resort is 10.0.0.2. So if I was to successfully, or to ping, I should say, from PC1 and the router now examine that package that it want to go out, what happens at router 1, since that the router 1 has its own default gateway, right, that gateway of last resort, it means that any network, it will go out, right, via 10.0.0.2, which is on router 1. But if I was supposed to ping from PC 0 from the 1 dot network to my server, would it work? It wouldn't work, because at one time it is going to successfully go out, but when it reaches PC1, the server, due to ICMP message, the message request, the echo message request, the TCP handshake would not have been established. So the packet somewhere along the lines is going to drop, because when the packet reach here in this routing table, there's absolutely no route in this routing table here, as we could show it here, show IP route, that goes now to the 1 network. So how do we fix this? We will have to set up a static route on router 1 to get to the 1 network. Again, to repeat myself, if I was supposed to try to ping, right, and we know in the routing table here we have a static route set up that whatever network it is, it will go out via 2.2, and we know .2 is set up on router 1. But even if I was to send the packet, the TCP handshake would not have taken place. So I would have to establish as well in router 1 a route to get back to my 1 network. So I'll go to my router 1, right, and I'll go to my config tab, and I'll also set static route. I will say that I want to reach the 192, the 1 network, .168.1.0 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0 via the 1 network, which is 10.0.0.1, and I'm going to add a static route here, right? So let's explain this thing in a lot more detail. I will have to set up a static route, right, that the server ICMP message request could reply to the ICMP message request that comes from PC1. So if I go to my routing table in my press Ctrl C, and I show IP route, I would see then that there is a static route that has been configured, right, to go to my WAN network via 10.0.1, which 10.0.1 is also a directly connected route in router 0. As you can see here, 10.0.1 is a directly connected route, right, in router 0. So if I was supposed to ping to the SMT network, it should work. And let's try it and see. So if I was to ping now 172.16.1.100, I should successfully be able to ping to that network. As you can see, packets has been transmitted. The TCP handshake request has taken place, the handshake, and now we could successfully ping from 192 for the WAN network straight down to 172.16.1.100. I guess if we go on the server, we could ping 192.168.1.100, which is PC0, and we successfully ping to PC0. The question is, can we ping to PC5, the 5 network? That's the question that we have to ask, because we successfully set up a static route to go to the 1 network. So let's try to ping the 5 network here. Ping 192.168.5.100, and we'll see that the destination is unreachable. Why is that so? Because again, if we go to router 0, we see that there is a candidate default or a gateway of last resort, meaning that whatever network goes out via 10.0.2. But in router 1, there is no candidate default, and there's no entry in this routing table that goes out to the 5 network. So we have to go back now to the config tab, and again we're just using the GUI tool here, and go static and add an entry to the 5 network, 5.0 subnet mask 255.255.255.0 via 10.0.0.1, which is router 1. So we have successfully now created a static route via the 5 network that goes out via 10.0.0.1. So if we was to go to our show IP route, and I'll go up arrow, right, we will see now that in our routing table we have 2 static routes configured, one to the 1 network and one to the 5 network, right? So if you are supposed to ping now from the server to the 5.100, we will successfully reach the 5 network, because there is a static route set up via 10.0.0.1.